And yo, we are finally back. The Sports Bag Bros podcast is on a Thursday. And in that little bit of time between Monday and now Thursday, more has happened, as you probably know by now. And as it turned out, we do have a new national champ in college basketball. The same national champ as last year, UConn, from the Big Beast, showed up, showed out, blew out, champs again. What's going on?
Sure did, man. UConn, they won by what, 15? I'm not even sure it was that close.
15.
They didn't have a game within single digits the whole tournament. I think all of last year too. And I mentioned, I can't remember when I mentioned it, but we talked about the spread, and I said UConn's covered the spread in 11 straight. Well, now you can make it 12 straight.
Yeah. And that was a 6.5 point line going into that game. I was like, you know what? I started looking at the Edie deal.
That's straight. That's 12 straight tournament games, not just regular games.
Not just regular games, tournament games where there are supposed to be better teams. But of course, people are going to talk about how the number one seed typically gets the easiest bracket as a reward for pretty much being dominant and the number one overall seed. It didn't matter because when they got their chance to meet a fellow number one, well, the coaching was just as big an issue as the playing. Normally in tournaments like that, you can see the players and you know the players are dominant. You know, you look at what Tark did in 90 or even 91 when they played Duke, and even before that, they played Duke when they played Duke in the Final Four in the second time. But you can see it was the players. You just knew everyone was a first-round draft pick. And Tark, you really with that, I think the amoeba offense that he was running,
defense.
It was called defense. You can say that it was it was Tark, but the players were just better players, and that was just it. But anyways, with this Zach Edey deal, I was on him all year long, even going back to the season before, saying how he was a stiff, how he probably didn't have a chance at the NBA. I think he realized that. That's why he came back for his final season. He showed up more so in the tournament where you make kings anyway than in the regular season. And then you hear people at the end of the game saying he quit on his team. He had more points than his team.
I didn't hear that.
He was dominant. What, he had 37 points in the game? Somewhere around
Monday night?
Yeah, Monday night. Against Connecticut in the national championship game. Let me see. He had 37 points. He had 37 points. The team only scored 60. He had more than his freaking team.
That was the quietest 37 ever. I thought he was in the 20s. No, but when the game was on the table, before UConn extended the lead, he was missing in the paint. And, they talked about, the last 3 games, he's only sat out 33 seconds or whatever. But he never had to work against a 7'2" guy in past games. So he was working harder than he had to. So he had to take longer breaks. And he just didn't have the same dominance he had over shorter players. You got to give UConn and Klingen credit. But as far as his NBA aspirations, I say he has 0. And all you need to do is look at that sequence when Samson Johnson was in the game and they ran pick and roll. He got 2 straight uncontested alley-oops. That would happen every play in the NBA. He's a liability.
He's slow.
He's got no chance in the NBA. None.
Well, I thought because of what he was doing and the national championship game in particular, but I think the tournament overall kind of gives you somewhat of a kingmaker ability if you show up there. We've seen players in the past do the same thing. I mean, Chris Kaman did that, I think, when he played at Central Michigan years ago. A lot of the same thing he had done there. He did well in the tournament and then ended up in the NBA. Solid basketball career. Same thing here, I thought. I compare him to Taco Fall, probably more because of the height. But Taco Fall, as stiff as he is, probably has just a little bit more athleticism than Zach. Zach is just slow. He just can't do anything. But I thought, give him an invitation to a camp just to see. Is he going to be someone on your bench, or is this going to be someone who just kind of a throwaway player? At least we gave him an opportunity to see where he goes from there, maybe even China.
Well, let me just say this. If he is given a chance in the NBA, playing as much basketball as I did throughout my years, my eyes never got wider than when I saw a big guy who was unathletic, wasn't that good. I'm like, I'm going to get him.
He can't do anything about it.
hey, I'm gonna block his shot. I'm taking him. I'm gonna get him. So can you imagine what NBA players would think?
Yeah,
It's a
I
wrap.
understand.
It's a wrap.
Yeah, I understand. And going back to UConn and the players they had, but this is like I mentioned before the game that it's going to be just as much about coaching. A lot of times it's players and then you know the coach. But this time it was coaching and you still had the players. But they just went after Zach and not didn't go after Jack. They let him do what he wanted to the point to where he wore himself down, and then they boat raced him. And that's when things started separating. And you look at what UConn has done, I mean, all season long, it seems, and definitely in the tournament. After those adjustments are made after the first half, they come out in the second half, and it's on. It's just on. They pull on the switch. They made those adjustments, and happily ever after for them, another championship.
Yeah, Purdue's got to upgrade their guards.
The guard play, bro. Come on.
He's gone. I talked about it. Because last year you can harass Smith, and man, they were checking him from the time he got the ball from out of bounds. He was getting the ball across court. There was like maybe 19 seconds. He was picking up his dribble by the logo. Like, why are you picking up your dribble way out there? He was getting harassed, man.
That's what that UConn team has done. They've been harassing you. They come after you. You said they come after you in waves, and they kept coming. And they don't get tired because they have a balanced team. They can come out with the next 5 guys and do a lot of the same things.
Yeah, Purdue needed much better guards to go up against UConn. That game, it was tight for a while in the first half, but you could see slowly UConn was taking control. And in the second half, it was never even close.
Well, when it came to UConn, especially in this tournament, I always just waited. I said, hey, you had to be between 4 and 6 points within them before halftime, because if not, the show was going to start for them and it would have ended for you. I think Purdue was, 5 or 6 down at halftime. Well, it kind of fell on that number. And look what ended up happening. They lost by 15. But this is UConn doing it second time in a row. And the first time that we had repeat champions in college basketball since the Florida Gators had done it, Joakim Noah, those Gators, man. Come on, Torian Green. He had some great players there. I mean, I think Corey Brewer was there.
Horford.
Horford was there. So you had some really good players there, back-to-back teams there. So in the past, more than 30 years now, you've only had that Duke team that repeated, Florida, now UConn. And there's been a lot of great basketball teams in between, but some of those break up so much they can't really repeat. Kentucky in particular, when they had Anthony Davis playing in his year that he won the national championship. And by the way, Calipari, the most overrated coach in recent memory, steps down from Kentucky. Kudos. And Coach Drew from Baylor is not taking the job, which I think is good too.
Yeah, Calipari's Calipari, man.
Just a couple of years ago, they were talking about a lifetime contract that Kentucky and the fans were all for it. Then, of course, those wins weren't coming anymore. The domination wasn't there anymore. And I've said it before with Calipari. If he doesn't have those NBA players across the board, he's not going to win a damn thing. You have players or coaches like Rick Pitino, they can have one top player or even 2 top players, and he's going to either go to a national championship game or he's making a serious run. Rick Pitino did it with Jamal Mashburn. They didn't get there, but they were just one player. And now you get someone like Calipari. He gets all of these stars. He wins with them and acts like he's a great coach because of it. When an AAU coach probably could have done the same. The real Calipari is the one that was in UMass with Marcus Camby. That's the real Calipari. Please stand. And if he wasn't,
how did he get Marcus Camby?
Huh?
And how did he get Marcus Camby?
Oh, you know what? I don't know how he got him. I don't know how he got him, man. But he was there. Marcus Camby was a hell of a college player. Pretty damn good pro. Was started passing out. Well, I don't know what the deal was. Haven't even got to the bottom of that. But either way, where Calipari didn't freaking have the best players or have one great player like he had with Derrick Rose in Memphis, what did he do with that? He was cheating. Come on, man. But anyway, he's gone. I think college basketball is better for it. I wonder who's going to be the next coach coming in there, and we'll hear about that sometime down the line. But yeah, man, the biggest news, even though we started with college football, may be Orenthal James Simpson has left the room. with a glove somewhere. Come on now. Is he really dead? Does it fit?
Oh my gosh. Why would somebody lie about that?
Of course, I'm being a bit facetious here because it was such a ridiculous trial. But anyway, he's gone. So he's going to be remembered because of what had happened with his ex-wife and her friend Ron Goldman. How much of football do you remember with this guy now that that's pretty much eclipsed his career? That not incident.
Well, honestly, he was before my time. I remember him more from the Naked Gun movies than his football career.
And Hertz commercials, man. Watching this dude jump through the airport.
If it wasn't for NFL Films, I wouldn't know jack about him.
And that's the truth. That's the truth. You know, so you read about these people and you know about them because of films. And Steve Sable, when he had his NFL film, still does. Well, he's not around, but they're still out there, so you know how he is based on that. And you look at the stats, but then you think about what he had done. And you look at the year, was it 73 when he had 2,000 yards in a 14-game season? 2,003 yards. He averaged 6 yards a carry in 14 games.
That's nuts.
Incidentally, though, Barry Sanders, when he broke the 2,000 yards, his first 2 games, he only had 53 yards. His last 14 games, he had 2,000 yards on the nose. He averaged 6 yards a carry. So it's kind of crazy how that worked out. So if you just kind of put a little bit of perspective on it, Barry Sanders had 14
I don't
games.
see the correlation, but okay.
Well, Barry Sanders in 14 games had 2,000 yards on the nose with 6 yards a carry. OJ with 14 games.
2 games to warm up. He had 2 games to warm up. Find his track.
He wasn't warming up. That dude was a jalopy. Come on, he was a jalopy trying to get out of the backfield in the I formation for the first time in his career when Bobby Ross came in and changed the run and shooting to the I formation with Tommy Vardell leading the way of all people. Anyways, O.J. Simpson, man, gone at age 76. The cause, as we know, it says prostate cancer. So he's battling prostate cancer.
But I mean, whenever I saw anything about OJ, I didn't usually pay attention to it anyway. So I may have seen it, but it didn't stick.
Yeah, so in terms of him being a player, because it is sports, because he was a player first before he was a murderer. But according to some people, they say he's not a murderer. But yeah, pop culture wise, socially, he's looked at as that guy who did kill them, and then there's still people out there that said that he had not done it. All the proof said that he had done it. He gotten off on that one. The civil trial came around. He got in trouble for that. $33 million supposedly supposed to go to the Goldman family, and they hadn't gotten their money. But he's gone now. He's making house calls. OJ is now a thing of the past. So I guess, I don't know, some people may say good riddance. I'm just saying, well, Juice has left the room. That's all you can say. I mean, what? He's going to come and bring 2 guys with guns and go back into the room and take his paraphernalia, take his memorabilia like he did before. Got time for that? 9 years. But yeah,
I think of that meme with Howard Cosell in the middle.
Him and Bruce Jenner.
Yeah, OJ on one side, Bruce Jenner on the other side. Things got really weird, man.
You would not believe what I saw. These 2 guys, 2 of the most popular guys in sports at the time. But either way, man, the NFL draft 2 weeks away now. Everyone's talking. Your boy's making a lot of noise. They're not giving up that number 1 pick overall.
I saw a report that Washington made an offer. And to me, if you're gonna get 3 first-round picks, Caleb Williams is not that much better than Jaden Daniels. He's not. There's no way in the fucking world he's that much better that you give up 3 first rounds to move down 1 spot.
Yeah, bro, they were willing to do it, man. When I saw the offer or the alleged offer, man, I was like, bro. I mean, we've already talked ad nauseum about what we believe Caleb Williams is. And not a bad quarterback, but for the number 1 quarterback overall, they're talking about generational. We hear this in like every 2 or 3 years. There's a generational quarterback. You're supposed to hear that like every generation. Not
Trevor Lawrence was the last generational talent.
Yeah, exactly. And we see how he's regressing after last season. Let's see how he bounces back. But we have Caleb Williams, and you get Greg McElroy, who's an ESPN analyst, used to play for Alabama. He's saying that Caleb Williams has never had any adversity to overcome while he was playing at any time. I don't know whether to confirm or deny. I mean, what do you mean adversity? I mean, he's come from behind in games before, and he's played pressure-packed games before, and he's won games. So what do you mean by he hasn't had really any adversity, but he wasn't acting like a jerk off the field and had to deal with it on the field? What that? I don't know. I don't know what he really means by that.
He needs to clarify that statement.
Yeah, that sounded like the hell you talking about. But it's funny how these Alabama quarterbacks who didn't make it in the NFL, they become these analysts and they know every damn thing after that. They're like, yo, bro, come on now. You was great in college because you had so many great players around you. Now you're here telling players who have good players around them. And once Caleb Williams is a good quarterback, I'm just not sold on great. And Jaden Daniels is, in my opinion, a better quarterback. We'll find out. It's going to work out. I don't think about Drake May. I don't think he's going to be as great. He regressed, in my opinion. I think everyone's opinion. But he's still up there in terms of one of the top quarterbacks in the draft. They're still talking about Washington taking him.
It makes you wonder, like, what are they hearing through the grapevine? Why do they want to move up? Is there a chance someone else is going to move up? Or the Bears are talking to someone else? They're afraid. I don't know. Things get crazy a couple of weeks before the draft.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for that big splash. Justin Herbert to the Bears for the 1-9 and the 5 goes to the Bears.
That would make sense for anybody. I mean, I don't think it makes sense. That's a nice wishful thinking scenario, but I don't think that sounds good for anybody because you have Jim Harbaugh, so he's playing with house money. You know, he'll be given a couple of years before people start scratching their head if there isn't any progress. So
yeah, but think about it. They're cleaning house. You get the rookie quarterback on the rookie contract. Now you can build around him. You got Justin Herbert. You're gonna have to pay him.
Yeah, well, they did pay him.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And so now that's why they traded Keenan Allen. That's why they traded Everett. That's why they're letting all these guys go. So you can say Harbaugh this, Harbaugh that, but Harbaugh needs players.
Yeah, but Harbaugh has his quarterback at least, and that's the keystone of almost every team you build. And bringing in a rookie sight unseen, like all rookies are, man, even though you got the label of generational, you know, Peyton Manning had the label generational, and he lived up to it, but he had his growing pains beforehand. And he had an organization around him that helped get him to that point. I mean, he had some ridiculous weapons at running back, at wide receiver. He just had everything. And tight end. I mean, Ken Doger was even a pretty damn good tight end for them. But in San Diego, what history have they had of really building and putting a team around a quarterback with longevity? It was probably a must-win now scenario, and you probably had a 2-3 year window, and then they just kind of fell back to the pack and below the pack a lot of times. But, you know, anyway, they have their quarterback right now. Build around the one you already have. Sight unseen is, I just don't, when you already have that was supposed to be a generational quarterback right now with Justin Herbert. Having Caleb Williams, man, I wish we could look forward and think this guy is going to be what we saw from C.J. Stroud last season. But all indications, well, what indications? No one's really done it before, so I don't think he's going to do it right now either.
Well, here's the thing. The Bears have improved their roster to the point where he doesn't have to be C.J. Stroud.
No.
Next year. You know, he's got DJ Moore, Keenan Allen. He has DeAndre Swift in the backfield.
Bro, that's a serious team.
He just got to come in and not fuck it up.
Bro, well, yeah, and C.J. Stroud did a little bit of that last year. He did not screw a lot of that, didn't screw it up. But and going back to your talking about what's being offered, and is there another team out there? What kind of package can you put together as another team that's bigger than what that package that the Commanders was supposed to have offered? That's a huge package, man.
You talk about if they trade with another team, they're moving further down.
Yeah.
So they're talking about just moving down one spot and getting multiple first-round picks. I don't see how they pass that up. But here's the thing. It could be the Bears have already decided on Caleb Williams. They went to his pro day. They didn't go to Jaden Daniels. Ryan Poles sent scouts, but that's not the same thing. No. He didn't go to Drake Mays. And I don't even know if they've met with Drake May or Jaden Daniels. So they're not looking at any other quarterbacks. So from that standpoint, why would they trade down? They haven't done their homework. If they trade out of number one, oh shit, who are we gonna pick? We haven't done our homework. Do we take May? Do we take Daniels? Do we trade down again and take McCarthy?
I think they haven't done, bro. you know, bro, that would be.
I'm just saying that if you don't do your homework, you don't know what you're gonna do, what you can do.
They haven't done their public homework in that regard because they could be doing a whole lot behind the scenes. There's been times in the NFL
if they don't meet with him, they don't interview him, they don't do the whiteboard, they don't ask him the questions, get a feel for his character and his intelligence and all of that, his leadership, then how can you draft him?
But haven't there been times in the NFL when a player said, this so-and-so team didn't even call me, they never contacted me, I didn't even know they were interested, and they ended up going as a high pick, not first overall, or even in the middle of the first.
Maybe not top 5.
No, not top 5. Nah, probably not even first round. Just that players that didn't think that a team had any interest in them, they didn't even got back to me. They kind of ignored me. They never even gave me a call, but on draft day, they're calling you. A hell of a poker face to pull that off. I mean,
yeah, but once you get out of the top 10, yeah, and especially if somebody falls.
Yeah, but man, this whole quarterback situation, man, and I'm seeing you see these mock drafts coming, they're heating up now, and people kind of regurgitating what the next person has said or the next mock draft had said. And you see Drake May at number 2, and the next day you see him at number 5. Then you see Bo Nix in the second round, and the next thing you know, he's back in the first round. I mean, you know, and I know these are just opinions, and I think that whoever's doing this publicly or nationally it's well thought out, at least to them. But, you know, unless you're a GM anyway, you don't know anything unless you're a GM. But still, you just see how this draft is going, and a lot of luck involved with the exception of having a first or even second round pick. You know, when you're the first or second pick overall, I meant, because if you're the second pick overall and, you know, like the Commanders are, you can offer whatever you've offered like that and you get refused, you still have, you can knock him off the board and still have everything else in front of you, including the better quarterback, we think anyways.
Yeah, it's funny because you talk about mock drafts. I was watching First Things First earlier, and Nick Wrong was saying he has done multiple mock drafts. I don't understand it. I mean, I get people love football. Obviously, some love it more than I do. I'm not going to do, if I do a mock draft, I'm not going to do 2 mock drafts. I'm not going to do 3 mock drafts, but he's done multiple. And he says he's finally come up with what he thinks the way it should shake out.
But what changes?
Crazy to me.
But the only thing I can see changing is as free agency goes, you kind of fill in someone else that you probably didn't expect. So that player you thought might have gone to that team and been an impact right away won't be needed anymore. I can see that kind of a thing. You know, like right now, the Jaguars, if they were looking for a defensive end and they were heavy for a defensive end, now you see that big contract that Josh Allen had gotten after it got a little bit contentious. Now you're like, well, they don't need that DN anymore. You know what I mean? It's not a pressing need. They can get that DN in the third round now instead of having to make it a priority in the first round.
Well, what cracks me up is when they predict trades. You know, on the way home from work, I listen to sports radio sometimes, and they have these guys on, and they say, well, you know, I have this team trading down. How the fuck do you?
Exactly, man. They're killing time. Dudes love their job, so I don't hurt them for that or hate them for that. They love their job, and this really gets to go. Hey, I was a draftnik once upon a time, too, and I thought there wasn't any stone unturned. I had my 3-month-old magazine thinking I was up to date way back in the day before the internet.
So if I do a mock draft magazine. So if I do a mock draft tonight, I'm gonna tell you on Monday, I got the Bears trading the 1 and 9 to the Chargers for Justin Herbert, number 5. And then they take Neighbors at number 5.
And if that happens, man, come on. Now
I laugh about it because I know it's not gonna happen. And you said, what did you say? It's wishful thinking. Yes, it is wishful.
Serious wishing too.
But like, I would never go on the radio and say, yo, I got the Bears trading number 1 and number 9. Come on, man.
Shot value. Everybody.
If if you're not in the war room and you know what's being discussed, how are you going to come up with you got a team trading down?
And some people get way beyond themselves because it's not just the first round. And you see them having these trades in the second round and third round as well, man. Like they're really that detailed. Like they're actually in the war room with these teams or getting this info. Now, info does change hands and minds when the draft does come around. And, it's gamesmanship involved as well, but no one's ever telling you exactly what's going on. I mean, no one's going to tell you that. They'll tell you a whole bunch of nonsense and do something completely different the day of the draft. So because anything can happen. I mean, what was it? Years ago when Byron Leftwich came out, the Minnesota Vikings were looking to get him. They ran out of time and the Jaguars came in and the Jaguars took him, because they ran out of time on the clock. I've never seen that before. I was at that draft and I was like, wow, bro, it was confusion everywhere. I was like, wow, how do you blow that? 15 minutes they give you to make that first pick? Your first pick that early, especially, is supposed to be bang, bang.
Right. I don't remember where they were picking, but I want to say that was like in the middle of the first round. So, yeah.
I think it was 8th or 9th because the Jaguars, I think, at the 9th pick with that.
So you got to think they should have at least 4 or 5 guys they're looking at on their board.
I don't know what they were thinking.
And then when it comes to their pick, they got 15 minutes. But they should have those guys ranked, right?
Exactly. They have these guys on the board for a reason.
Right. Got them ranked. So how do you blow 15 minutes and not pick one of them?
I don't know what they were thinking, man, but I remember when the time lapsed. Wait a minute. What the hell you mean, wait a minute? Your time is up. The Jaguars came in, boom, not even 5 seconds, like, we got him. And it turned out, hey, it worked out for the Jags for a little while. Byron just couldn't stay healthy. But yeah, man, you would think these people are that organized, but I guess on draft day when everything is going so fast and you're in the moment, these guys are veterans. This is not their first war room. Even if you just became the new GM, you've been around the environment before. You still know exactly how it's run. But, maybe things just get a little frantic and you're taking phone calls too. That happens like the entire time. During the draft, you got phone calls after phone call, realistic ones, people bluffing, people lying, and some people may be telling the truth. You're trying to get to the bottom of it in 15 minutes.
To distract you.
Probably so. Maybe someone was distracted in Minnesota. That's how they lost track of time. And the Jags stepped in and got Byron. But yeah, man, this is the quarterback situation right now in the NFL. I think C.J. Stroud really led the way last year, and now it puts the onus on these rookies coming in to really do something. I mean, I think a few rookies last season, quarterback-wise, did something. Richardson up there in Indianapolis played better than I expected, even though he did a lot of what I expected, still ran and got injured because of it. But you have people talking about Tom Brady possibly coming back again.
Yeah.
He said he said out of his own mouth, well, I'm not against it, pretty much. I'll paraphrase. I'm not against coming back if I have to, or if someone wants me to. Of course someone wants you to. It's just a matter where you want to play.
That would be crazy.
Man.
Well, but the craziest thing is that I heard he said the Patriots are an option.
Who? Tom Brady?
Yeah.
You know what? And I'm thinking that Jaden Daniels would be so good with the Patriots. And that's what one of the mock drafts said, that he may end up there. And if Tom Brady did come back, even if it's just for 1 year,
right,
you can get an easy pass for even your number 3 pick overall for the entire season as long as Tom's there. That he can sit back and learn from Tom and just no one's going to cry. Tom can look sloppy. No one's going to want to see the rookie. And then, when Tom leaves after that 1 year, if it's just 1 year, he slips right in. That'll be the perfect scenario.
That would be for
absolutely
a rookie quarterback. Heck yeah.
But I'm still tripping over this J.J. McCarthy as much as I was on his bandwagon as a collegiate quarterback. If they talked about him being a third rounder or even trying to get into the second round, I'm still rooting for him. I'm rooting for him too if they decide to take him in the top 5. I just don't think that top 5 ability is there. I don't know what the hell they've been seeing that I hadn't seen. But I mean, I know what they've seen that I haven't seen. They've been in the practices, they've broken down film. But damn, I saw Saturdays, man, and he's a very good quarterback. But there's been a lot of very good quarterbacks who weren't the number 1 pick in top first round draft pick, or even in the top 10, top 15.
Yeah, some teams are desperate for a quarterback. They might overreach.
God, but man, I mean, he's an athlete now. If everybody wants to get in love with that athletic quarterback again, You can look at Lamar Jackson. He's not as explosive as he used to be. He's trying to be more of a pocket passer. We saw a little bit of that, actually a lot more of that this past season. Well, you get somebody like McCarthy who has very good speed, not that speed that Lamar had when he first came in. He's definitely faster than what Lamar is now. The legs are cool, but you still got to get that passing game down. And depending on the team that gets him, I mean, come on. Jalen Hurts, they threw too much money at him too soon. I don't know. Maybe he did go to a Super Bowl, but he's kind of taken steps back since.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened with Jalen Hurts last year. They started out well. But it wasn't just him. Yeah, it was the whole team, defense. But Hassan Riddick's gone now. At least got some work to do over there.
Oh, yeah, they got some serious work. I don't think they'll be going anywhere deep in the playoffs for a little while now. I mean, it looks like the Cowboys probably had taken over the division now because there's really nothing else there. The Giants still relying on Daniel Jones. They don't have Saquon Barkley anymore.
How big do they have?
Who, the Giants?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Is it like the 12th? Somewhere around there, 13? Ah, man. I might have to check it because, but quarterback-wise, even if you bring in a rookie quarterback, it's going to be the same old. First of all, I didn't know why they even had taken Daniel Jones. I saw what he had done at Duke, and it was okay for what he did at Duke.
And
but man, I never saw it translating into the NFL and the Giants of all places.
And they paid him.
Oh, and they pay. Yeah, I thought they only paid him because market value said pay him that much, and it was still wasn't what the other big dogs were getting. It wasn't what Mahomes is getting, and it should have been. But it wasn't what Lamar Jackson had gotten, and it shouldn't have been. But it was what well, actually, he got paid before Lamar, I think, didn't he? He might have. But in any event, he got paid on the lower rung of what is expected for that position this day and age. You're going to get paid regardless. You could be a pretty bad quarterback, but if some franchise buys into even somewhat of a future with you, they're going to overpay you, and that's what he had gotten. The ability just isn't there for me. I just don't think so. Now you took away his running, what was a running game. But, yeah, man, so – the NFL draft coming up, and we're going to try to do a first-round show and go along with it on a live stream, get a panel down and invite people who want to watch and join in on the conversation as well. Put a link in the scroll or the description so you can just join in as well. So that's going to be something to check out on draft night, the first round of the NFL draft 2024. What, this is in Las Vegas? This one? I think this one's in Las Vegas this time around. I hate that they move it around. I wish it would have stayed in New York, but I do understand. You want every city or major city or really supportive city to get a piece of that experience because, hell, I enjoyed over 17 drafts in New York. So I got a little selfish over it and didn't want to move away.
Oh, and I heard there's going to be Christmas games again. Like
Christmas
the NFL ain't giving it up now that the Sunday fell on Christmas.
Man.
Christmas, and in the middle of the week.
Man, you think they respect the NBA, man? That's like the unofficial start of the NBA season. They go out there with their 4 games, sometimes 5 games, and really put their stamp on the season, let them know that we're here. Man, I thought these owners, not even owners, these commissioners, I thought they had some gentleman's agreement, but when there's a whole bunch of money at stake, the agreement is we want to make more than you.
I think Christmas is on a Wednesday this year.
Yeah, the leap year probably did push it to a Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, wow. Well, wait a minute. Was it Sunday last year?
Must have been Monday.
Oh, because if it's Monday, it should be Wednesday. Yeah, I thought it was. Well,
whatever it was, it was a normal NFL day.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they gave a chance for everybody to play.
Right. But speaking of Christmas Day, we got some NBA to talk about.
Yeah, let's go down to the NBA now and see what's been going on. I mean, 3 games left generally for most teams, if not all.
Some have 2.
2 games, yes. I think the Knicks playing the Chicago Bulls like twice in like 4 games. But anyways.
Speaking of the Bulls, did you see what happened the other night?
No, I hadn't.
Somebody got a steal. He's going down court. One of his teammates is following. He throws it off the board. He thinks it's for him, the guy from behind. So they both go up for it to dunk it, and they miss it. And the guy who tried to dunk it falls down the ground. No, the guy behind, he falls down. I don't know if he was injured. He was injured for a minute, maybe. But Billy Donovan's on the sideline like, what the fuck are these guys? But they actually missed it. My thing is, and when I saw it, I started sending the YouTube link to my friends, like only the bum ass Bulls. And everyone's like, oh hell no, oh that's bogus, man. What's wrong with these dudes? That's the Bulls. It's the bum ass Bulls, man.
Man, I thought they
Never
had
seen anything like that. You would think the guy who's following, when he sees the first guy jump, oh, he's throwing it to himself. No, he still went for it. Come on, man.
freaking clown
He's
car.
got to dunk on his own teammate.
Man.
Ridiculous. They'll get bounced.
Didn't James Harden do some nonsense a couple of weeks ago over that? A couple of weeks ago, James Harden, what was it? Oh man, was it James Harden blocked one of his teammates' shots?
Oh no. He was in the corner. He was going out like he was gonna contest.
Yeah.
That's what he did.
Yeah, so
he was being stupid.
He was being stupid because they had the game locked down already anyway. And how about Drew Holiday getting that big money from the Celtics, though? Rightfully so, though. He deserves it. Getting the money he had gotten now from the Celtics and the money he had gotten from freaking Milwaukee. You talk about generational wealth, bro. Come on now. This dude like hit the Powerball twice.
He's a hell of a player, man.
Yeah,
he's a dog.
Offense.
He's gonna hound you on defense. He'll knock down big shots. I don't know if the Celtics have enough to beat the Nuggets, but I think the East is the Celtics Invitational.
Yeah, it should be. And the team they have, the depth they have, everybody on that freaking floor can score. I think they can handle. I think they can really get back because last season they were in it and they didn't win home games. It seemed like. But I think they could beat Denver. I think they could really beat Denver. I think Denver has to make sure they're the lead dog in the freaking out division anyway in the conference.
Well, they beat the T-Wolves last night. It was kind of tight towards the end, and then Jokic was like, all right, that's enough.
Without Towns, though.
True.
Who's coming back on Friday against the Hawks.
But now they have a stronghold on the number one spot.
Yeah.
You got to go to Denver to beat them. That's a tall order.
It is a tall order, no question about it. And the series is really going to put that pedal to the metal. Now, right now, do you take Oklahoma City seriously, or this is still a work in progress and they really, really should do it next season?
Hey, I'm taking the wait and see approach. You know, we talked about it before. We're waiting for them to fade, right? Young players, Chet, he's a rookie. He's going to hit the wall. But they haven't faded. They're still right up there. But the playoffs, it's a different animal.
It is. And the series,
I don't know, like, if they know how much intensity they have to bring, how much focus it takes to win in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you almost have to learn that.
And that's true. Some teams can come in and do it. Most teams don't. But it's a different NBA now, and these talented guys, they have talent up and down that roster, man. And I think the reason why it wasn't a proverbial wall yet, at least, is because there's more than one guy, more than two guys who kind of show out every night. You know what I mean? It's not that one guy that you have to rely on. Kind of like Memphis, they had to rely on Ja. And even when Ja went out and they still started winning without him, you realize that guys were shooting way above their normal averages when he was out. But when he came back and things kind of settled down, well, they went back to who they were. And it came back to, they started losing a little bit, but then they got it back on track once they got used to him being in the lineup. And with Oklahoma City, I think each guy, or at least three guys, a different guy could be every night. SGA is going to just give it to you every night. You already know. But you already know Josh Giddey also out there. We already know Chet get out there. Man, they have multiple guys that you can rely on. And if one isn't clicking, someone else will. So there's not really – one can hit a wall, the other one won't hit the wall. All three aren't going to hit the wall. It doesn't seem so far.
Well, yeah, but they can go into game one against a veteran team and not know the difference between regular season and playoff.
Yeah.
Blitz that first game, and now they're already behind the 8-ball. And they're trying to play catch up. And it depends on who that veteran team is.
Yeah, that's true.
If it's Sacramento, maybe they can overcome it.
That's all I'm talking about.
If it's the Lakers or the Warriors, if they go down 0-1, they're probably done. Could be 5 or 6.
And let's not forget, this Oklahoma City team did play in the playoffs last year to the point they were talking about bringing Chet back early from the injury he had. They was like, you know what? We should play him in the playoffs. They thought the better of it, waited for him to completely heal, and they paid off this year with him and the rest of the team. So I think this is a mature team with playoff experience. Some players' experience is better than none at all. It's just that Chet was the one who wasn't in the playoffs, but he was in that playoff atmosphere. If they were talking about him possibly coming back, he at least could have played. He was practicing. So he knows a bit of that intensity in practice of what it takes to prepare to play the bigger teams once you go to the playoffs. Now, and it's different being in the game, but at least the rest of the team is going to help them out. And they've played well as a team this year.
Yeah, I mean, they're dangerous, man.
They are in the ass. I like it.
Like it could also be a case of they don't know any better. Like they're confident. True. They're confident. You know, they know they can score. They know they can do this. They know they can do that. They can expose a matchup here, a matchup there, and like they don't know they're supposed to lose.
And that's true. We've seen that before. These young guys don't understand. They're taking more risk than a veteran would ever take because the veteran knows better. And it just happens to work out this time for the rookie or this time for the younger team. And they get used to that. And they get momentum off of that. And they start using their youth in their favor and start running boat racing guys, man. Or it can happen that way.
Confidence grows.
Yeah, it does. Especially among young players, man. Vets been there, done that. They kind of know when to hold them, know when to show them. Well, and as far as the young guys go, they don't know how to walk away. They know how to keep going until you beat it into them that they aren't supposed to be here. Right. And I think Oklahoma City is that kind of team. Now, how about Kyrie Irving vouching for Luka, which you could expect as MVP of the league? He's up there in the conversation, but is he MVP of the league this year?
I don't know. You probably can make a good case for them. You know, they didn't start out too hot. You know, they looked like
them half a year.
Right. They didn't defend very well. The offense was out of sync, but then all of a sudden they put it together. And now they probably look like the second best team in the West.
Yeah.
Maybe third with Minnesota when Cat comes back. But if Minnesota and the Mavericks go at each other in the playoffs, Mavericks got a good chance to beat them.
Yeah, that's true. And what's changed? That's what I want to know. I mean, Luke has been playing this way pretty consistently this year. Now he's had days off, sometimes injury, I guess sometimes this scheduled rest they've been doing, but he's been consistent. This is his most consistent year of just going out there and maintaining it, and the turnovers aren't as bad as they were in the past.
That could be it right there. You protect the ball, you get more shots, better possessions, and you get more in sync. You get a rhythm. When you're throwing the ball out of bounds or somebody dribbles off their leg and your offense isn't moving, it's hard to get in the rhythm. But you control the ball, you take care of the ball, you don't turn it over, you get your shots. People get in rhythm.
I'm just wondering how he and Kyrie were able to coexist with this one basketball rule. I mean, come on now. You can only use one ball. And Porzingis and Luka didn't work. I thought that would have been a Batman and Robin or 1A, 1B that would have worked. But it looks like Kyrie, he's willing to defer, and they've been better for it. But he also pushes it when he has to.
Yeah, I haven't watched enough Mavericks games to speak on them, like what's really clicking for them. I just know they've been balling. They're dangerous. But, I mentioned earlier, and if someone might be saying, man, how do you know the Nuggets going to be in the finals? That's what I think. And when the Celtics played the Nuggets, Jokic abused Porzingis. That's the issue. Celtics got nobody for Jokic. Porzingis, he's got height, but he don't have no girth, no strength.
No,
he's tight in the ass. Jokic, even moving in slow motion, just moved him out the way and did what he wanted to do. So they got no matchup for Jokic.
Isn't that like the same thing for every team that plays Jokic, man? This is the guy who's not explosive, not athletic, but man, they don't have an answer for Jokic. Regardless of who the team is, they don't have an answer for Jokic, man.
That's true, but I'm just saying, like, if you talk about Minnesota, at least they got Gobert.
Yeah,
Gobert's sturdy. He's not going to just get punked and pushed around, bullied around. Jokic may still drop his 35, but he's going to have to work for it.
Yeah.
As it came a lot easier when he played against Porzingis.
And you look at these Euros have their own little battle, I guess, going on when they playing one another. It looks different. I mean, the way they play, I guess, fundamentally sound. The Euro players are allegedly or seeming realistically more fundamentally sound than American players for the most part. And when they play one another, you get to see a lot of it. So when you see Gobert going against someone like Jokic, it's just a battle of Europe. You see Luka going against another, hell, if he went against Jokic, another battle of Europe. Porzingis, same thing.
But you asked earlier, who's the MVP? I think I would vote for Shea.
Really? You know what?
If you think about it,
I'm not going to argue.
Out of the top teams, he has the least amount of help, in my opinion. And I'm not saying he doesn't have help. I'm just saying compared to the help that other teams, that Jokic has, that Luka has, that Tatum has, my vote goes to Shea.
Yeah, you know what? I wouldn't argue about that. I saw a podcast the other day. I think I sent it over to you. I don't know if you watched it or not, when there were guys who were talking about the top 8 players in the NBA right now. And one of the guys that's on the podcast talked about the players. He started going down the list. He gets to Jokic at like 6. I mean, I don't think he even had it in any particular order. But if you just ask me right away, I'm going to have Jokic at either 1 or 2. I'm just going to mention him. Even if I don't put it in any particular order, you just know the name because it just pops out. Oh, Jokic should be there. Or even Embiid should be there. You just know the name right away. He didn't even say Jokic's name until like the 6th player. He had SGA at last at 8. And he said he had LeBron on the list. And he mentioned LeBron like 3rd, I think, maybe 3rd or 4th. And he says he didn't want to have too many Euros on it. Bro, if you got a list of the best players, it shouldn't matter where the hell they're from. It's either they're one of the best players or they aren't.
That's
and then he doesn't have Giannis on it at all because he said he's not. He says he's not. He says he's one-dimensional. He's not a playmaker. Guards are typically playmakers, which is true. But Giannis only has one move. But he became the Greek freak because of that one move is the reason why he dominated games.
I don't know. I can't even speak on that. I mean, it's just stupidity. You can't. You're not gonna
and these are guys that's supposed to know basketball, man. It was pretty damn disappointed listening to him.
I mean, because then you bring defense into the equation. Like offense, I mean, basketball isn't just offense. Of the top players, Giannis might be the best defender. He probably is the best defender.
Yeah.
He's way better than Jokic. He's way better than Luka. He's better defender than LeBron. Whoever you're going to mention, he's right up there as a top defender.
And that's playmaking when he does that defensively.
You can't call him limited or he only has one move. What about the defensive end where he changes things?
Man, and by the way, the host of the same podcast, is Steph Curry still a top 2 guard or is he the best guard in the league? I don't think so, man. I think he's injured more now that it doesn't give him that title.
I don't know if he's injured, but as of late, he's only been averaging like 23 points a game. So I don't know if that's because his teammates have been stepping up. Kuminga's been stepping up.
Yeah.
Clay's been shooting better. The other night, Draymond was 5 for 5 from 3 in the first half. So it could be, he's just hanging back. He doesn't have to go out and score 30. So maybe he's not putting in that effort like he had to when Clay was coming off the bench struggling, when Draymond was suspended. You know what I mean? He doesn't have to carry that load anymore. So right now he's probably just hanging back. Come playoff time, he's gonna have to kick it into assassin mode.
So does that answer the question of is he the top 2 or 3 guard in the league right now?
Yeah, I didn't answer your question, did I?
No, I just want to know because maybe I'm missing something. You watch basketball all the time.
Let me ask this: is Anthony Edwards a guard or a forward?
Isn't he both? Can he play both?
I don't know. Because if Shea's my MVP, that's 1, right? He's the best guard in the league.
Oh, easily. I think so.
If Anthony Edwards is a guard, then he's 2. I mean, he dropped 51 the other night.
I think I actually did have Anthony Edwards as one of the guards when I had mentioned that to the guy I was talking to. I was like, yeah, I think Anthony Edwards is better. And he was like, no, Steph's still the best guard in the league or among the best guards.
That's based off the performance for the whole year, right? Those
Yeah,
guys are balling. They got their teams at the top of the conference.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean come playoff time, Steph's not going to go 6 for 9 from 3 and drop 35. You know what I
true,
mean?
he can.
So,
yeah, I was just curious about that. Sometimes you hear these things, man, and you're like, man, in the moment you're like, are you crazy? But you try to sit back and think about it, but like, you know what? Let's give it some real.
Let's do it like this. Is Steph going to be all NBA this year?
Whoa,
not first team.
No, I don't think so.
Not first team for sure.
And
I don't know about second team.
That speaks for itself.
Right. I don't know about second team. You got guys like Tyrese Halliburton. You know what I mean?
Oh, come on. Tyrese Halliburton, he was killing the beginnings. That injury, the hamstring got him going, kind of set him back a bit. But man, he was absolutely insane, man. The first quarter of the season, going into the half before the hamstring injury, he was there.
So if he's not first team All NBA, then he's not a top 2 guard.
So that should answer the question right there. So now I need to go back at him with that. Come on now.
Let somebody send that to Steph. You ain't the top 2 guard. Yeah. See what happens.
Well, you know what? Let's see how he responds. We've seen him respond before. You know what I mean? Make sure it's not Christmas Day and he'll respond. You know what I mean? Christmas Day,
it's funny, man, because people are so quick to throw shade.
Oh, absolutely. And legendary players at that.
Man, I forget what it was. Somebody was talking junk about someone. I was like, easy. It's only halftime. There was a game. Steph had 0 at the half, and everybody was clowning him. And he dropped 35 in the second half and gave the Warriors the L and sent them home. So, hey, be careful. Careful if it's only halftime. I want to chill.
Poke the bear, man. Yeah, that's true, man. But shoot, looking right now, the West seems like they have the best overall in the beginning of the season. I was talking about how the East had it from top to bottom. The West kind of shaped up to be what the West is right now, still led by the defending champions who have an opportunity.
Yeah, think about this, about the strength of the West. The Warriors have the best, or sorry, take it back, not the best, the 4th best record in the league since the All-Star break. And they're in the 10th spot. They haven't made up no freaking ground.
Playing game, bro. What's going on? Aren't the playing games like next week? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Season ends on Sunday.
Wow. Yeah, that's true. That's what the hell, man. Before we were saying down the stretch they come because All-Star week had passed, and well, the stretch is over now. This is the freaking playoffs coming up. We'll have a new champion soon enough. But now, pivoting, of course, baseball is here. I don't know how much you've watched yet. I bet you're going to start watching a little bit later because basketball, at least in college,
a little bit. I saw Ellie De La Cruz went yard hit a bomb off the batter's eye, 450 feet.
All right, Ellie De La Cruz, getting it back again. But he's still in bases now, too, this early in the season.
Same game. He hit an inside the park home run.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's one of the most exciting players in baseball. He's my
speed-wise, that's no question. So I'm not. So I mean,
but not just speed, like what he does with the bat, what he does in the field. That dude.
I'm saying the speed-wise to get it inside the park home run, and he's also stealing bases, man. Stealing bases just hasn't been what it once was. No one's ever going to.
They changed the rules last year. Remember? They changed the rules. They changed the rules last year.
Yeah.
So guys are back to stealing bases again.
Yeah, but not like that. I don't think. Look, I'm not worried about what Ricky Henderson done. Even Scott Pasek, remember him? I mean, with your boys. So he used to steal bases, but I don't think we're gonna have those guys doing the 75 steals anymore, or 80 steals, or close to that. No, I mean, in this day and age, the way baseball is played, especially with the striking out, getting 40 steals would probably be a good idea. 50 steals would be a very damn good season. But anyway, Well, baseball-wise, man, I think the Yankees lost to the freaking Marlins yesterday. Man. What's going on with that? I mean, the Marlins just got their first win of the day, but this is a 162-game season, and it can happen. And it's the 3rd loss for the Yankees. No big deal. Come on now. I mean, the Dodgers aren't playing the way I thought they would play, man. I mean, I expected utter domination from gate because of what they've added to that team, and they're already good to begin with.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a focus issue or what. I mean, it's early in the season. People are going to hit their stride. They're going to get hot. Pitchers might get dominant. And I mean, come August, you may not be able to score more than 2 runs off them.
And that's probably true. But you know what? Do you think what's going on with Ohtani might be somewhat of a distraction, even though he just came to the team?
It could be. I mean, I just saw a report today that someone stole 16 million from him.
Yeah, that interpreter is a freaking interpreter.
Yes.
This whole thing's been going on. It's been ridiculous, man. He's like, yo, bro, I didn't know this guy stole it from me. And the interpreter gambling? Well, and then you look at the nonsense. I mean,
man, he needs to call back home, and the triads or whatever organizations they have out there, send one of your guys, man. Send one of your guys. That's all I'm gonna say. You don't mess with the franchise. I mean, he's bigger than Godzilla, man.
It's true. And looking at the things he's done to where he has all that deferred money so they can build this team right now. This dude's taking what, $2 million this year, $3 million this year? Deferring all that huge cash, man, so they can build this juggernaut around him. He's gonna get it back anyway, and he's doing a whole lot of endorsements all over the world, particularly in Japan. And so the money's not an issue in his talent. He's not even pitching this year. He's just gonna hit. Craziness, man. But anyway, the Dodgers, not looking as good, but still good enough. And I knew in the beginning of the season, even though this is still the beginning of the season, I had pretty much a list of bad teams, and the Colorado Rockies was there, and the Marlins were there. They just got their first win recently, then now their second win against the Yankees yesterday. And then, another bad team, Oakland. We know what their situation is. They were bad last year because now they have a reason to be worse because they're going out to Las Vegas. So you have some pretty bad teams in baseball right now. And would you call the White Sox bad right now? I mean, is there prospects for them to get better, or will they be at the bottom of the doldrums with a lot of these teams?
No, things have gotten worse. Where Louis Robert got hurt, Eloy Jimenez got hurt, Yohan Moncada got hurt. But here's the thing: they all got hurt running to first base. What the hell's going on, man?
Hamstrings. The strength and conditioning coach, what's going on here?
Moncada had an abductor strain. He's out like 3 to 6 months, they said. Robert has a hip flexor, and Jimenez, I think he has. But yeah, and that's their 3 best fielders. So
man,
yeah.
And then
not that they're going to do anything, but you asked me if they're a bad team. They're a terrible team.
Damn. So the prospects aren't looking good at all this season, that you can see at least.
Yeah, the only thing
spend money. They got to spend money. You said they don't spend money.
No, I mean, Ben Nattendi's their highest paid player ever.
Bruh, that's crazy. That boggles my freaking mind. But man, the Astros not looking good so far this season. I still look at it as the 162-game season, and the Astros are the Astros, at least of late, and they should do something. They're not going to stay down there in the bottom of the freaking standings right now, which they're 4-10. They haven't, and they got swept to start the season by the Yankees, man. But they're not going to stay down. I just can't imagine that. The AL East is still going to be the top division for now. It was last year because at least you had every team over 500, but then no one came from there and won a World Series. It was a freaking Astros. Oh, not the Astros. It was Texas.
Right.
And Texas is not looking bad this year either, man. So, yeah, you got some good things happening in the AL. And the NL, the team.
The only thing I say about the Astros is that they'll make moves to improve the team.
Yeah,
that's something I can say about the White Sox.
And how about the NL East? The Braves, being the Braves, dominating. They did lose to the freaking Mets. I mean, in fact, they got blown up by the Mets, surprisingly, because the Mets started off pretty badly. They're kind of getting their legs back together. Got themselves 5 games now, 5-7 for the season. They have had a couple of postponements because of weather. But the Marlins is just terrible. But hey, our guy Luis Ariz is starting to finally get it together. He went 4 for 5 the other day. I don't know what he went against the Yankees yesterday. I refuse to look. But I'll look eventually down the line.
Why'd you refuse to look?
I refuse to look because it's the Yankees. Come on, man. I don't even smack us around like that. But hey, in a losing effort, you can lose the game. I look at your stats like, damn, man, he's getting it out there again. But come on. he's out there again. Too much of a damn homer when it comes to at least baseball. Not even the Jets do this to me, but in any event. Oh, well. Well, this weekend we have a couple of college spring football practices. I know you probably don't keep up with that kind of thing. just something to keep the fans buzzing so they can hang on to until summertime or until the next window for the transfer portal to come in May, or pretty much right after the spring practice. Georgia has theirs coming up. I think Alabama has theirs coming up. I think, Miami has theirs. You have a few of them coming up, and we'll get some buzz at least out of there to see the new names, new faces, and new places. Cam Ward coming from Washington State to Miami. We've seen it in person, what they had in the quarterback spot without him last season. What the hell is he doing this year? We'll get to find out, I guess, either through the written word or just watching.
Yeah, the only spring game I pay attention to is Nebraska.
And have they had theirs yet?
No.
Yeah, so
but there's some excitement for Dylan Raiola.
I'm about to say, I'd be interested in seeing their spring game as well. Yeah. I mean, there's just certain programs, even if you're not a fan of theirs, you just like to see the spring practice. First of all, the representation.
Plus, they're going to have 70,000 in attendance.
That's what I'm saying, man. You see the type of attendance. The Gators had their spring practice years ago when Tim Tebow was there, and then Nebraska just came and just blew it out of the water. Remember when Bill Callahan first got there and they had all those people there? It was like, yo, the ball's going forward in the air. What's going on here? And it was just huge, man. People just in awe just seeing the ball in the air. And that's what spring practice does for you. And it gives you and what's funny is when they brought out the fullback last year, the crowd erupted. They were so happy to see the fullback back on the field. Exactly, man. So I think it's just a matter of time. Matt Rule, I think even last year, you just look at the pieces he had at quarterback in particular. That quarterback position really killed the team. That defense played its ass off for as much as it was out there until later on they just couldn't hold on.
Jeff Sims was terrible, man. Couldn't even catch a snap.
He was awful, man. What the hell were they seeing from him from Georgia Tech? I watched him here in Jacksonville, so I'm always on those Jacksonville quarterbacks or players, period. Bro, I wanted him to succeed, but what ended up happening was a travesty. And well, hey, they got another shot now. They have more of a real quarterback in place. That defense is pretty solid. I still believe in Matt Rule just as a coach of Nebraska, a historic program. And you like to see those teams kind of move forward. And, well, I know Deion Sanders is going to be back in the news eventually because
Warren Sapp made an appearance.
Warren Sapp, yeah, he's going to be a grad assistant. I think he's going to be a grad assistant.
But he is
a full-time coach just yet.
That's bogus, man.
I think he has some work to do with his degree before he could pull that off.
Okay.
I think that's what it is. But if he is the actual defensive line coach, someone put it in the comments. We'll check that out as well. But I'm thinking that's what it is right now. So, but he's addressed teams and people are buying into what he's saying. I can't see how they can't. He has a mouthpiece on him. You know what I'm saying? If you one of these D linemen, if you like that rah-rah kind of thing, he'll get you dirty, man. He'll make you want to run to a wall. So let's see what Warren does. I wish he was at the freaking U like he should be, but he's in enemy territory with the.
I agree with that.
Yeah, that's craziness. But anyways,
imagine a Seminole and a Hurricane joining forces.
I'm looking at this. That's exactly what's going on. Warren Sapp and freaking Deion, 2 Hall of Famers at that. Come on, man. I mean, we have. I'm not even going to crap on Kevin Beard like that. He's our wide receiver coach at Miami. He doesn't have a yellow jacket. It's for disco. It's not for freaking. It's not for the Hall of Fame, man. But anyway, we got to shut this down because it's now coming to an end. Who's that? Nebraska? Oh, get the Nebraska joint on. There we go. The spring football coming up. I think theirs might be this Saturday or it might be the week after.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Yeah, so have you been keeping up with it and seeing the little buzz that comes during the spring practice? Oh, this kid that no one expected is stepping up and running for these crazy yards.
I've been seeing things on Twitter, but I haven't really been keeping up with it. I just know there's a buzz in Lincoln.
Yeah. Oh, and it should be, though. If you have a quarterback, the quarterback was the reason for not having a bowl game last year. The quarterback specifically. The defense did as much as they could for as long as they could until they couldn't do it anymore. And spring practice is sometimes when you get these plays that you never heard of, they do so well, and then you still don't hear about them during the season. There was a kid named Rodney Hood who played for Clemson years ago. He had like 140 yards in spring practice. Never saw the dude in the regular game. What the hell was going on? He was like 150 pounds, but he was getting his yards. But I guess it was just for the fans. And he didn't work out. So he's Bias. I'm Trav, and the Sports Bag Bros podcast will be coming to an end, and we will catch you on Monday after a week of more shenanigans in the sports world and probably other places. We don't have another OJ death to announce, so we'll just figure something else out between now and then. But until Monday, deuces.
Peace.